Subscribe for all those hand sanitizer lovers out there. Um, alright. So this is going to be a bit of a story time. Um, what do you really need to know for this? Well, I'm my family is very outdoorsy, right? Like they like going out in the woods and riding, quads and all that stuff. They like going out in the woods, right? I don't. Not really, at least. I mean, hey, I can go on a walk here and there, but I'm not like going on hikes every week. Um, as a matter of fact, my nickname was Casper because I was so freaking pale. And I'll tell you this, I was not like, I was not there's nothing holding me back from going out there other than my own beliefs and not caring. But on top of that, I was a bit of a germaphobe. I didn't really like, getting a whole bunch of dirt on me and mud and all that. But I still try. You always want to try for your family. So anytime there was a cookout or something, and I was invited to my cousin's house or whatever, I'd always go, of course. Now this story takes place when I was probably like under 10 or something. So I'm at my cousin's house, and there's a key defining feature of this place. There's a massive hill. So just imagine like this cliffside going down into like the woods, and up here is where their house is and everything. It's basically just this massive freaking hill going down, and then this is like their like little, this is where their house is at the top of this. And everyone always goes down here to like, do activities or whatever, right? And there's just this one big ol' hill, there's jagged rocks all down this thing, like it freaking sucks, okay? But I'm there and I want to do my best, right, with my cousins. So I'll go down, whatever, I'll go down with you, that's fine, I'm no wussy. So we go down, and another key defining feature of this place is that every single inch of it's filled with mud. There's paths all over, but it's, there's so many trees and everything, so whenever it rains, that mud is going to stay there forever. So I'm going down into this place where mud is probably my worst enemy as a freaking germaphobe. I do not want to touch this. I'm basically playing like, the floor is lava. I'm like skipping around trying to avoid the mud piles. We're walking around, right? I want to make something clear. I am wearing like bright blue shoes. Like these are not what I should be wearing, okay? Now give me a little slack here. I was probably like 8 or something. Like I'm way too young to think about like, oh, I should wear boots. But I want to hang out with my cousins. I don't want to be like the, that loser sitting in the corner, right? So I have to go down with them. So I'm like doing my best. I'm skipping, I'm jumping around, I'm landing on rocks to get out of this mud. And eventually we get to a place where I'm like, I think I'm in the clear. I think I'm in the clear, right? I wasn't in the clear. I step into this area, like it's... I think the best word to describe it is like a sand trap of just death. It is terrible. Every inch of this area is lined with mud. Take one step without looking, bam! My shoes are just covered in mud. And they're so deep, right? Like my feet sink in like it's snow. So you can't even see my shoe. It's just in the mud, right? All the way up here, like all the way up to where my socks are. Like my socks are the only thing that's just not covered in mud, right? Both shoes. So like both shoes, like I land in this mud. I'm trying to like pull my shoe out. I'm like, come on. And then boom, socks come out, right? Like I'm pulling so hard that my socks came out before the shoes did. So now I'm just barefoot, right? Just sitting down in this freaking hellscape where like every inch of this place is absolutely disgusting for me. and I don't have my one protection against the dark arts. I don't have my shoes. They're just covered in mud. They are stuck in a pile of mud. There is nothing that can be done about these for me. Like, I have no ability here. My shoes are gone. They have basically been swallowed by the earth at this point. But, you know, like, what the hell? What am I supposed to do? I'm stuck down in this... I'm probably like a mile away from the house. I'm down this massive hill. And here's the... Like, I'm not going to go into the details here, but I pulled those shoes out with a stick. I took a nice stick, stuck them in the shoe, and leveraged it to yoink them out of this freaking mud pile the size of, I don't even know, like a lake. And I just... And I mean, I can't put them back on, dude. They're completely covered. When I pulled those shoes out, it's like if you just took a brick of mud and you just held it in your hand, and it had like a little hole on the top where you could put your foot in. That is basically what I was holding. There was no shoe. You would not think these are shoes. Anyone who saw this would be like, why do you just have some mud in your hands? What are you doing? So I'm carrying these shoes back, and they're absolutely freaking disgusting. And I have no choice. I have to just walk in my freaking socks because my cousins just ditched me the second I fell in this mud pit. We all went down there together, but when they saw me in that mud pit stuck, they're like, he'll get out. So I have to. So and remember here, I have to go up the freaking mountain. I have to go up this massive freaking hill to get back up to that house, right? And I have to do this all in my socks. This thing is covered in rocks and crap. I am basically a mountain climber at this point. I am scaling this thing. My oxygen levels are running out. Like, I'm freaking dying trying to get up this hill. I finally reached the top of the hill. And it really doesn't end here. It's almost like just it's like the aftermath of just like a super depressing moment in your life. I get to the top of this hill, right? My shoes, I'm carrying them. They're freaking disgusting. I don't want to touch them. It's horrible, but I also know like I can't just leave my shoes at the bottom of a freaking hill. So I get up there. I throw my shoes down. My parents are like, "What the hell happened to you?" And I'm like, I'm just like done. I'm like just dead. Like I am just looking at them with dead eyes. Can't even begin to feel upset about this at this point. I'm so emotionally just like distraught. I go over. I just go over and I'm just sitting in this freaking chair, just literally like just my socks on my feet. I don't have my shoes anymore. They're just over in the freaking corner covered like bricks. My parents are asking, why the hell did you bring up a brick of mud? I'm telling them that's my shoe. And then, like, the best way to end this, right? Like, the only, you'd think, like, oh, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe you could borrow a pair of shoes from my cousins or something. No. They pull out the hose and they're just like, oh, we're just gonna spray down the shoes. we're just going to just... I mean, it'll be fine. We'll just, like, freaking spritz them and they'll be fine. It's not like they're completely soaked and caked in mud. And I'll say this. After this experience, I did not get new shoes for, like, 2 years. I'm just wearing these freaking shit-covered shoes. They were supposed to be blue, but they were not blue after this. They were never blue again. And I'll tell you this, I never bought blue shoes again. That, like, traumatized me. I just sat in this freaking chair, my socks were freaking... my socks weren't any better. I mean, they were covered in, like, dirt and crap. I'm just dead. I sat, like, in this plain freaking lawn chair for the rest of the cookout, just not wanting to do anything. I was done. This, like, ruined my... it probably ruined that year. It was so bad. I don't know. Just being a germaphobe and having this happen to you is literally like torture. It's like and I want to make this clear. This was like it was like a trek to get back to the house. It was probably a good mile of just walking down in this lower section and then like this this freaking cliff side that I had to scale, all in my socks, carrying my freaking disgusting shoes. This was horrible. It was probably the worst experience I've had in a while. I mean, at that age, at least. I will say there are other horrible stories about, being in the woods and things like that, but this was definitely one of the worst ones. And I think if you are a germaphobe, this would be like, this is torture. Uh, but yeah, I don't know, whatever. That was just a fun, silly little story that I, wanted to talk about today. Yeah, the time my shoes were completely ruined and I almost had a heart attack because of all the mud. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's fun to just tell some stories once in a while, so I can go. Even I can go back and just be like, oh yeah, I remember that. I don't know. It's fun to just talk about them when they come up in my mind. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's about it. I don't know. I'd appreciate if you can like, comment, subscribe, blah blah blah. Maybe tell me a story that you have about this kind of situation. I don't know. Maybe you have like a story where you ruined your shoes and had to do something, or another germaphobe nightmare. I don't know, something. But yeah, see ya.